So now that you've thought of your technology strategy, you have some sort of implementation plan, how do you go about implementing your technology strategy? And here I just wanted to demonstrate a few options that a nonprofit could follow to become more productive at what they want to do. And this is by no means a full-fledged implementation, but it's just to give you an idea of the possibilities out there. So one hypothetical example is that you're a small nonprofit, your team members have several roles in the organization, and during the day they have to juggle between various responsibilities. And let's assume that one of the responsibilities is email heavy, say a customer service or a volunteer manager, and the other one not so much, maybe a graphic designer or a grant manager. And one technique that has been used heavily at Google and elsewhere is the zero inbox approach, where your email is always empty at all times during the workday, during the high productivity hours, and then you go and take care of emailing and all these other low energy type of tasks once the day has dragged on, and you don't need that boost of energy that creative works require. So here I wanted to show you a technique called email snooze that hides all the emails in your email box during the working hours of the day, and maybe say at 3 p.m. they will reappear again, and now you can respond to emails. The reason being is that these small interruptions, a lot of us tend to go and check email maybe every 5 or 10 minutes, and studies have shown that these interruptions really cost you, in addition to those 5 minutes, about 10 to 15 minutes to get back into the flow of whatever you're doing prior to checking your email. And that's not, then it's a huge time sink, and you don't want to do that to be a productive organization. So here, let's go and show you a typical email box. This is our email box at Muslim Buddy Inc. Very boring, very uneventful emails that will be a huge time waste. So say I wanted to keep these emails hidden from our volunteer manager or our customer service manager during the working hours, then maybe around 3 p.m. I want to show them these emails again so they could go back and start replying. And there will be a lot of emails, but at least you could just do them one after the other, bang, 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 and that even in emailing, you'll be more productive. So this technique utilizes this new service called Google Apps Script, and basically these are programming scripts like people are familiar with JavaScript, but for Google apps such as documents, sites, email, calendar, etc., that allows you to seamlessly access these things and be creative how to use them. So here I created a new spreadsheet, so you will go normally and just do create new spreadsheet, and here I created a new one called email snooze, and at face value it's just an ordinary sheet. It's empty, there's no information in it. So how could this make you more productive, you would ask? Well, the trick is here. If you go to tools, and then you have the script gallery, the script options, gallery, manager, and script editor. Gallery shows you scripts that people all over the world developed, and you could go and copy and paste them and use them. Script manager shows you the scripts that are already installed in the spreadsheet, and script editor allows you to modify any scripts within this spreadsheet. So I've already took the liberty to copy and paste the script that I'm using, and I found that already in the internet, and I just made minor modifications to fit our example. So here you can see that it's anybody who has any programming experience kind of is familiar with these, just very basic scripting language, similar to JavaScript, but not quite JavaScript. There's just 3 what we call functions. So you can see a function here, get label name, setup, and move snoozes. And the idea is very simple, is that once we run the script, our inbox that is associated with this Google account is going to have new labels or new labels in them called snooze, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, etc. The idea is that you want to snooze these emails for X amount of days, and then they'll automatically just reappear in your email box after that amount of days has passed. Unfortunately, as much as I would like to chat for several days, we don't have that much time, so we'll tweak that requirement to just kind of snooze every few minutes instead. And to achieve that, there's this neat option here called triggers, where you would basically call one of these functions at certain amounts of time. So here I'm asking this trigger to run this method or this function called move snoozes, and you could do that either by time-driven trigger or from the spreadsheet trigger, meaning that if somebody maybe submits a new entry in the spreadsheet or somebody opens the spreadsheet, you run this function. But in our case, we're not interested in that. We're interested in a time-driven trigger. Normally, you will leave it at days later if it was the original script, but since we're changing it, and it will do it every time at midnight, for instance, we're going to do it every minute instead. So we select minutes timer and then every minute. We save it. We tell, so there's a setup function here that kind of applies everything, make sure that everything is working. And what it does here, as you can see setup here, it goes into Gmail and it creates a label and it calls it snooze or unsnooze. So it's pretty neat. So you hit this blue play button here and basically it goes and installs that feature into your Gmail. It takes a few seconds, as you can see. So now, if we go back to the email box and say we select all of them and we do move to, and now you can see we have these options now. Snooze, snooze 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. So we'll do snooze 1 day, but fortunately it will only be snooze for 1 minute. So as you can see now, your email is empty. You can be productive. You're not distracted by any emails coming in. You could focus on doing your work, and then several hours later, the email will be your email box will be repopulated. You could reply to your emails, and you could high-five yourself at the end of the day because you've been very productive both at emailing and whatever else your day job involves. So let's see. I don't think it has been a minute, but we'll try. And voila, it's been a minute. Your emails are back. Now we could do emailing because you've been productive doing something else. So this is a simple example of how you could go if your technology strategy was about leveraging existing technologies to improve the productivity of my staff. This could be one implementation of this strategy.